We're going to be in the book of Psalms this morning, Psalm number 62 to be specific. There's a not so fine line between wisdom and foolishness. That line is the ability to learn from your experience. I don't care where you start from, what you go through. To mess up once, that's all right? To mess up a second time, fall into the trap the third and the fourth and the fifth, that's foolishness. The line is when you keep on repeating the same mistake. Some very wise person wrote a long time ago that those who refuse to learn from history are condemned to repeat it. And that person is speaking really of nations, but while it's true of nations, it's equally true of individuals. Why is it that some in every new generation of Hollywood stars that come along, they end up destroying their lives with drugs and alcohol? Haven't they read the history? Haven't they heard of the people who have gone before them that couldn't conquer it? In fact, it destroyed them. Really, it comes down to this. They don't stop to consider the lessons learned and share, both good ones and bad ones, in the road of life. For far too many people, both famous and ordinary, the slogan that best describes the way that their life ends up is, "It was fun while it lasted." It was fun while it lasted. The trouble with that is twofold. If what you're doing doesn't kill you, life's going to keep on going when you're done. And the second thing is that there is a God who's going to call you to give an account for your life, for your choices. This life is not all there is. God is merciful, but He's not a fool. As the Scripture warns us, it is appointed to every person once to die, and then the judgment. So what are you going to do knowing that? How are you going to live? Those who are wise are going to learn to look and to listen both to those around them and learn from their experiences, not just the ones that are their age, but the ones that are older. And they're also going to look and listen to what God has to say. How to have a better outcome in life. Even as all the fools around them rush to the latest fun things to do, these people keep plugging away in the paths that were laid out a long time ago in places like God's Word. Paths that lead to a deep peace, to a prosperity of the soul, to a life that is blessed and a blessing. This morning we're going to look at a psalm, a worship song of sorts, poetry, written by David. And David stands in the middle of the Old Testament as a great man of faith, a man after God's own heart, a shepherd boy who became a mighty warrior. He killed that giant Goliath with his sling and stone. From there, he became a leader among men, and finally, he was God's anointed choice to become king of his people, the people of Israel. You know, as he went from the sheepfold to victory on the battlefield, and then finally to the throne room, that could have gone to his head. But when opposition came, he kept his cool, and more than that, he kept his faith. He kept his faith. And we are so blessed that he was one who wrote down some of these things, like a journal entry, giving us a glimpse into his life, helping us know how he handled these things and what he found to be worthy of his trust, to be worthy of his imitation. And so we have before us today this psalm we're going to look at. We're not given this setting like we are at points in time. We're told it's dedicated to, or it's for a situation, Jeduthun, good Hebrew word. Because it's a reflection on his life and And it's a reflection on what he's learned. I really feel like this is not something that was written early, when he was still a shepherd boy. It probably wasn't written while he was out running from King Saul, hiding for his life. But this is later on, perhaps after he's become a king. He's been through battles. He's gotten his scars. And he's found that when it comes right down to it, there's only one thing he can count upon. And that's what we read about this morning in Psalm 62. Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. How long will you assault me? Would all of you throw me down this leaning wall, this tottering fence? Surely they intend to topple me from my lofty place. They take delight in lies. With their mouths they bless, but in their hearts they curse. Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from him. Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. Surely the lowborn are but a breath, the highborn are but a lie. If weighed on a balance, they are nothing. Together they are only a breath. Do not trust in extortion or put vain hope in stolen goods. Though your riches increase, do not set your heart on them. One thing God has spoken, two things I have heard. Power belongs to you, God, and with you, Lord, is unfailing love. And you reward everyone according to what they have done. The first thing we find in this psalm is a value statement. A value statement. David tells us what he has found to be worthy of treasuring, worthy to hold on to, worthy to put into the bank, so to speak. And he tells us where he has found it. He says, truly my soul finds rest. Rest. Again, I told you this is a mature reflection. He's not writing this as a young man. He's writing this as a little older fellow, because what does a young man say? He's looking for fun. He's looking for pleasure. He's looking for profit. But he's been through those searches, and he's found that you get those things, and those things are nothing at all. They can't help you. They can't get you through. My soul finds rest. I wonder if early in David's wilderness experiences, he enjoyed the cat and mouse game that went on when he would flee from place to place and run away from King Saul and his army. He was a young man at the top of his game. He was a leader of men, other men who were a bit of adventurous sorts. They too would come and they would be drawn to him. And I sort of wonder if that was not an adrenaline high for David for a while. But over time, that adrenaline rush had worn off. He'd come to see that there was nothing there but exhaustion. That there are other things that are more valuable than cat and mouse games we can play. And what he has come to value most of all is something that maybe we don't even think about. Or maybe we think about it a whole lot. Rest. Rest for our souls. Rest for our souls. Stillness, silence, quiet, refreshing, renewal, rest. David has learned that the only trustworthy source of that kind of rest is time with God. Look again at verses 1 and 2. Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Two of the terms that David uses here to describe God are rock and fortress. And these terms take him back into the wilderness, so to speak. Take him back out into that place where he would get up in these high spots, these mountain hideouts, where we know he took refuge. From these high places he could see for miles. We're going to maybe need to have a little one sit out in the back there somewhere. Maybe there's a room back there where you can listen, if you don't mind. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Delta. From those high places he could see for miles. He could detect his enemies when they approached, and they couldn't sneak up on him or his men. He could defend his position when attacks came. And taking that mindset with him into the palace of the king, David says, listen, I don't have to wait. I don't have to worry. I'm not out in the middle of nowhere with someone coming to attack me, but still, God is my rock. God is my high place. As long as I rely on him, I will never be shaken. I can rest. I can rest. That's the most important thing to have. I read pretty widely in the newspapers through the week, and I see people talking and surveys coming up, and they talk about tension. They talk about tension in the country. They talk about tension about their jobs. They're talking now about my tax refund isn't as big as I thought it was going to be. Tension, tension, tension. What's the answer? Rest. Rest for our soul. The second thing we find in the passage is an acknowledgement in verses 3 and 4. Others are always seeking to drag him down. There are others seeking to drag you down. Just being around people, does that drain you? Does that drag you down? Whether it's driving in traffic or whether it's dealing with people in the office or the workplace or the classroom. They drag us down because they don't understand. They don't understand that there's something to be spoken for being positive. You don't get up by walking on other people's backs. The way David puts it, even when people speak blessing to his face, they have evil in their mind. And he speaks more of this in other Psalms. He describes a friend who's betrayed him. Stabbed him in the back. And the lesson there is that we shouldn't expect others to celebrate our success or to value what we value. Why should they? When they're still searching and grasping for all the things that this world says are important. What David is talking about, this life where we rest and we trust in God, it can be a lonely journey. It can be a lonely journey. Then there's an admonition. An admonition. What is an admonition? It's a strong word of advice. A strong word of advice. And actually has two things to say. The first one he says to himself. The first one he says to himself. Find rest, O my soul, in God alone. Find rest. Now the word that he uses here for rest is different than the first word he used. The root word of meaning of this word is to wait. To wait. For God alone my soul waits in silence. Why? He says, because my hope comes from him. I wait. I wait. We mustn't miss the transformation that's gone on in David's life. He's been a warrior, He continues to lead his army. But his first response when trouble comes is no longer to ball up his fist and to depend on his wits, to go grab his sword. It's to get alone and to think and to talk to God. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He says, He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. And then there's something very significant that he says here. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He said something very similar in the 23rd Psalm. In the 23rd Psalm, he says, You lead me beside the quiet waters. You restore my soul. You lead me in paths of righteousness for what? For His name's sake. When you've identified yourself as a child of God, He cares for you. His name, His glory is at stake. And so David has learned not to worry about his honor. He leaves it to God. Every week it seems like we hear of a drive-by shooting, whether it be San Antonio or Houston, somewhere in one of these big cities. And sometimes they're drug-related, but many of them come down to something foolish like, well, someone disrespected me. It's a road rage. I wasn't treated with respect. And so what's their answer? They pull out a gun and they fire. David says, listen, God, my reputation is in your hands. You're the only one I need to please, and what I need to do then is rest. That's his admonition to himself. What's his admonition to us? Here it is. Here it is. Verse 8. Trust in Him at all times, you people. At all times. Good times, bad times, in between times. Trust in the Lord. And here's what trust looks like. Pour out your hearts to Him. For God is our refuge. Give Him your worries. Give Him your cares. There's a little exercise you can do in your prayer time that maybe will help you think of this and remember it. It's called palms down, palms up. Palms down, palms up. Palms down. As I bow and I worship the Lord in prayer, I turn my palms down and I open my hands and I release everything I'm holding on. I release everything I'm worried about. I release everything that I think I've got to do something about